Welcome to Chiloé! In today's video, I'm going to show you around Chiloé, Chile, a super unique place, a unique ecosystem, a unique culture with rich history. This place is truly one of a kind. I don't think there's any place on the world quite like it. So this is an incredible place to explore. Let me show you around. Hey there, so we just arrived at our room in a hotel called Tierra Chiloé, which is located in Chiloé, Chile, which is in the Lakes District, so in the southern portion of the country. And this room is incredible. So let me take you around. It's got a great view, the water here, hills, birds flying outside. It's got a lot of cool features, so let me take you around. All right, so you walk in and this is really a well thought out design. You kind of store all your luggage right here so it's not in sight when you're sleeping. You've got a little station for your mineral water, coffee and tea station over here. It's got this natural wood paneling all around. It's sort of a minimalist Scandinavian design to the room. It's a nice size. It's got this little sitting area so you can have coffee here. So this inlet is actually just part of the Pacific Ocean. Got a nice size bed here. And check out this amazing bathroom with this incredible tub, again looking over the water. Amazing tub overlooking the water. Okay, so one thing that's cool about Tierra Chiloé is I've got un regalo para ti. That's a gift for me. And it's this metal water bottle, which is very nice. And they provide filtered water. So the water is safe to drink down here out of the tap. It's just preferable to have filtered water. So you just pour it in like so. And they refill these glass bottles filtered water every day. So now we are good to go on our little hike. And we'll be nice and hydrated and we get to keep this thing. So as I was taking a walk around the property of the hotel we're staying at, I came across some wild berries here. They look to be blackberries to me. I'm not totally sure if they're edible or not, but they look a lot like blackberries to me, and I eat a lot of blackberries, so very cool. So over my shoulder there is the hotel we're staying at 2 nights, Tierra Chiloé, and I'm guessing it was pretty intentional that the design blends in with the environment here. It is primarily made wood, and it, doesn't really distract from the natural beauty here in Chiloé. And it's funny because as we're on this walk, it just kind of appears out of nowhere and you get a good view of it just like this one. But otherwise, as we continue to walk, it just kind of blends in with the surroundings. See, there it was and there it's not.
We are in the archipelago of Chiloé. We have around like 40 islands in total around here, and we divide this island in 2 parts. So we have the Pacific side where we have all the hikes and trails, and then in the central part we have cultural activities, hike excursions, and a couple full days. Okay? So over here we have Castro, the main city, also Dalcaue, it's an important point to know, Dalcaue, and here this island, it's called Quintal. So in this case, we will know like the most important city, okay? So if we want a full day, I recommend you go to the Pacific side. Okay. So for example, we have this excursion called here Tricolor. Then we have Tepuhueco. And if you want something more challenging, we have over here Duatao. Duatao, and Awenco. So I heard that probably you want to see pudus, animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult to see
Yeah.
them, but I wanna try.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm here with Barbara Moreno, who's the director of excursions at Tierra Chiloe. So Barbara, I have some questions for you. First of all, where are we? I mean, we're in Chiloé, but can you explain where that is?
Yeah, for sure. We are in this amazing archipelago of Chiloé. So we are in the central part of the island. Okay, so we are very close to the inland sea.
Great.
And we're kind of far away from the Pacific side.
We're far away from the Pacific side. Okay. Now, a lot of people know Patagonia. Us in the United States, Patagonia is a very famous place. So how close are we to what is considered Patagonia? It's south of us, correct?
Yes, it is south. So we are around like 3 hours far away if we take a plane.
Oh, wow.
If we decide to take a boat, it could be days.
A boat?
Yes.
What if you can you get there by car?
Well, it could be about like 4 days, more or less. You need to go to Argentina and then come back if you
Oh,
want.
wow.
Or you
Okay.
can take the ferry and it will be longer.
Yeah. So down south here in Chile, basically, it's all these little, it's basically like one big archipelago. It's like
Yes.
little land masses kind of broken up. So if you were to take a car, you'd have to like really weave in and out and take ferries sometimes as well?
Yes, for example, if you want to travel here in the island, you need to
Yeah.
take the ferries. So
Okay.
in every island, we have like a 1 ferry or 2 ferries.
Yeah.
That is the way. Or you can have a boat,
Okay.
like the
interesting.
local people.
Yeah. So you live here now. So you told me earlier you're from Santiago, where I lived for 3 years actually, and so I feel pretty well acquainted with the country of Chile. But this area down here, as you know, is pretty much the opposite of Santiago, which is what has a population of nearly 7 million, which is, I mean, how many people are in Chile as a whole? 14 million.
Yeah,
So like half of
that.
everybody that lives in Chile is in Santiago. So what's special? What drew you to this place, and what's special about it?
Okay, I think Chiloé, it has like a magic thing. You have the water, you have the land, and everything's kind of connected. So you're really connected with the nature. For example, everything depends on the tide. If you have low tide, you can walk around this place. If it's not, you can need to do something different. So I think it's the connection that you have with the nature
Yeah.
and the forest, the water. They're different elements.
Yeah.
And the most beautiful thing is that you're so super close to the animals, to the wildlife. Except, for example, from here, I just see over there and I can see dolphins. I can see sea lions.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
unique, you know?
So that's interesting. We're at a place and we look at the window. It kind of looks like you're looking at a lake, but this is not a lake.
not a
This is
lake.
the ocean.
Yes.
So it's salt water. I actually kind of stuck my finger in it, tasting it to verify that it is actually salt water. So you have saltwater animals
Yeah, exactly.
living in here, and then this, obviously, typically when people think of the ocean, they think of palm trees and
true.
sand and the beach, and there's no palm trees. here.
No, there's not at all.
Yeah. So that's that's really, really
Yeah.
interesting. So what do you actually call this type of ecosystem? Is there a specific name for it?
We call it in Spanish humedal.
Humedal.
Yeah, humedal.
Did I say it okay? Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, humedal. That's
Okay.
correct.
All right.
Yeah. So the
what's the meaning
humedal,
of it?
So it's you have the water and the land and they together. So you have like a wetland. That is the name.
A wetland. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All
so
right.
the beautiful thing and the special thing is that you can see a lot of kind of birds.
Yeah.
Birds are coming
Yeah.
from Canada, from Alaska.
Really?
They stay here.
Interesting.
Sometimes you can see flamingos.
Yeah. Is there any species in particular that you know are indigenous to this area?
So, for example, you can see some ducks, the black swans also. What other kind of bird you can see?
Some dogs? Did you
Yeah.
say dogs?
No, not dogs.
Not
Ducks.
like street dogs in Santiago?
Ducks.
What did you mean?
Ducks?
Ducks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
So we got some special kinds of ducks here, birds. So a lot of bird life.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
understanding. Very cool. Okay, so speaking of nature, now you offer a variety of excursions here at the hotel,
Yes.
Tierra Chiloe. Can you tell us a little bit about the excursions you offer here?
Yeah, for sure. So what we're trying to do here in the excursion department is had like a beautiful combination between cultural activities and hike activities. So for example, we can go to the Pacific side where we have like the widest part of Chile, and also we can go to the central where you can learn about the church, you can learn about the architecture, you can see the steel houses. So we try to go
What are the steel houses?
steel houses.
Yeah.
We call them palafitos.
Palafitos.
You know those houses with a stick and you can see it with water.
Oh yeah, so they're elevated like on
Exactly.
poles or pillars,
Yeah.
so that if the water floods,
Yes.
if you have high tide or something, the water can go underneath.
Yeah, exactly
right?
like that. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So those are
Yeah.
beautiful because they're very colorful, and most of the people are interested in that part
Yeah,
because you can see how the people is connected with the water.
that's really interesting. So what are some of those most popular like types of hiking excursions here?
So far we have one. It's called Duatado. That's I think it's one of the most beautiful one. It's in the north part of Chiloé, and here it's just you and the forest. You have the cliff, so you feel like
Yeah.
alone in that park.
And you said there was an interesting thing you mentioned earlier, tricolor,
Yes,
tricolor.
tricolor.
Yeah, and that has, you said that has the ocean, the dunes, and the forest. Is that
Yes.
why it's called tricolor? I'm
Yes.
guessing.
Tricolors. It's very close to us. Well, it's about 2 hours. However, it is
2 hours driving.
Yes.
Okay.
It is insane because you have three things you can see in just one spot. So for example, what you say, we have the dunes, we have the forest, and we have the Pacific side. And the beautiful thing is there is a pier that we call the time pier.
Time pier,
Yeah, time pier.
like a clock tells time.
Yeah.
Why is it called the time pier?
It's a poetic thing.
Okay, it's very
you will
poetic.
see tomorrow how is the
Okay.
structure.
All right, so I'm going there tomorrow, so I will show you the time pier. And then finally, how does one get to Chiloé? It took us a long time to get here.
So you have two options.
Yeah.
One is by car, so you need to stop in Puerto Montt. Then
Yeah.
you need to take the car. You need to cross to the Chancao Channel with ferry, and after like an hour, you're gonna be here in the hotel. And the other option, the easiest way, is just take a plane from Santiago to Mocopui or Castro.
Okay, yeah,
And it's only
that's
2
how
hours.
we got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually from the United States, it takes about 18 hours to get here.
Wow.
So be prepared for a pretty long day. But Barbara, thank you so much
You're welcome.
for talking to me today, and we're looking forward to our excursions here at Tierra Chiloé.
Thank
say
you.
bye?
See ya.
Okay. Okay, so I realize you can barely see my face here. It's extremely dark in Chiloé. There's zero light pollution. You can clearly see the Milky Way, and it's quiet. It's very, very nice, and there's a crackling fire that the hotel has lit just behind me. And not only that, but they have these blankets for you to grab if you're a little cold outside, which it is a little chilly here in Chiloé, but we are going to chill out for the remainder of the evening after arriving here in Chiloé, enjoying our first day. Okay, I'm here with Eddie, who is the general manager at Tierra Chiloé. Now this is one of the coolest hotels I've ever stayed at, and I've stayed at a lot of hotels. So Eddie, can you tell us a little bit of the basics about the hotel? When was it built? Tell us a little bit about the mission and how it ended up in this particular location.
Well, the original hotel was called Refugia and was built by 2012.
2012.
Yeah, at that time was only 12 rooms.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so by at that time, Tierra Hotels has already two hotels, two properties. One in the north of Chile, which is Tierra Atacama, and the other one in the south of Chile in Patagonia.
Yeah.
Tierra Patagonia.
Yeah.
So the owner, Miguel Purcell, which is from a family, they own Portillo. So they've been in the industry of the hostel since 1960. So
Wow.
they've
Long
been running.
time, yeah.
Portillo is the oldest ski station in South America.
Ski station?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Portillo.
Okay.
So they own this hotel in Portillo. So they carry hostel business in their blood.
Yeah, I
You
guess
see?
so. I guess so.
Miguel, one of the family, he built Tierra Hotels, and at that time, he was looking for the third hotel, and he found Refugia when the lodge was 12 rooms. He found this hotel, and he was already imagining like Tierra Chiloé, like the third part of the
Yeah.
hotels.
Yeah.
So they bought it by 2014, and in 2017 they add 12 rooms plus the spa with the same architecture, the same office of architecture,
Yeah.
which is Mobile is the name of it. There's 3 architects, and they did a great job in terms of architecture, design, and decoration.
Yeah, they really did. In particular, so I'm a little bit familiar with the Tierra brand, and I was walking around outside and noticed that this structure is not, how would you say it, it fits into the environment.
Blends in.
It blends in. Is that an intentional choice?
Exactly. Because if you have the chance to do kayaking on the bay, or if you take the boat, with each one of the boat we have, you don't see the lodge until you're very close.
Yeah.
Because it's blend because of it's all covered with these shingles out of lark. So, and the shingles are not painted because they turn naturally, change the color because of the exposure to the sun and the wind and the rain. So eventually we'll take the natural colors the wood will take, so blends in.
Yeah. And how many total rooms are here?
24 right
24. Now. Okay. And how many different types of room? Like
there is 3 different.
2 different room categories?
3.
3. Okay.
The Rilan, which they face into the ocean. Then Puyao, they face to the wetland, and then two suites.
Okay. All right. Now people can't see what we're looking at, but there is more in my video. So the area behind us here that we would look at this window is called the wetlands.
The wetland,
and it's actually, it looks like a lake, but it's the Pacific Ocean actually.
Yeah. But this very mellow ocean because no wind. Right. You realize it's an ocean because of the tide, basically.
Yeah.
Because there is no waves. But
No, I didn't see a single wave. No, definitely not. Okay, another thing I noticed about the hotel is pretty much when you look around the hotel, you see wood, concrete, and a little bit of steel. So it seems like there's kind of a maybe minimalist approach to the materials used in construction.
Well, they use obviously local wood, so that's one of the main icons, I would say. Concrete blends really nice with the local wood, and then some steel but in black, so the mixture is really
really it looks really great in here. And being built from 2012, I mean, it kind of has a modern look, but very timeless in a sense.
Because it's a mixture between like trying to, it's a modern design of a steel house. You saw it in Castro, maybe. Yeah. This local steel house by the ocean. Yeah. But with this contemporary design, so it's a good mixture of, and with the lark, with the shingles out of lark. So the wood is used in the local houses all over Chiloé. So you see, it's the architecture took local icons but mixed with modern design and modern architecture.
And so Eddie, are you from Chiloé?
No, I'm originally from Santiago.
Okay. Yeah.
It's more than 20 years that I live in the big city behind.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. In fact, I don't know if you know, we're just meeting really for the first time. Well, actually this is the person who greeted us when we arrived at the hotel. Do you greet everybody who arrives at the hotel?
Yes, that is or
is that your main job?
If it is not me, the assistant manager, because it's a way to introduce into the explaining everything you can do. Otherwise, probably you will have a lot of questions without any answers.
Yeah. So what he's referring to is that when you arrived to this hotel, the first thing he did was gave us a tour of the property and showed us around, and it was very helpful because he told us about this tour. There's a little walk around the property, and that was the first thing we did. So we wouldn't have known about it if you hadn't told us. I met Marcy living in Santiago, Chile. We lived there for 3 years.
Okay.
And I met her there, and I know what you mean. This is a extremely different environment than Santiago. I mean, would you say it's the opposite? It's pretty much the opposite.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. But it's an interesting place. Can you tell us a little bit about why you love it down here in Chiloé?
Well, Chiloé is a very quiet place. I mean, if you go into any small communities around, like San Jose or Rilan, you'll notice the fences of the houses are this high. Yeah. So but it's something inconsciously you relax, because there's not big walls with
Yeah.
wires.
we were noticing that. I mean, even, in Santiago, every house that has any kind of size has a wall around, a literal wall around it. And that is interesting because we had a Chilean friend come and visit us, and our house in the United States doesn't have a wall or a fence around it, and they're like, you mean anybody can just come up to the door? And we're like, well, I guess, yeah, you put it that way, but it's something down here in Chiloé you don't really worry about it.
Exactly, it's something you can breathe in. It's really
Yeah.
quiet. Everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's issues, but at least it's a very safe place. And
Yeah.
everybody knows.
Well,
knows each other.
I've only been here for a couple days, but I see that it's a very peaceful place. And just in closing, can you tell us some things that make this particularly Can you tell us some things that make this property so special?
Well, first the location, because we are on a hill facing the wetland and the Chilean Peninsula. Architecture, design, and
Yeah. And who did you say was the architect?
The office architecture is mobile,
Mobile. Okay.
and there's 3 architects there: Patricio Brown,
Mhm.
Antonio Liptay, and Sebastián Morandé.
Cool.
And they
Very-
work all over the building and the remodelation, the expandation. So they've been working with a team of design and decoration.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job. I would
It's
say.
a great job. It's a very unique structure.
And then on the other hand, you have the food. We have local farmers, local producers for eggs, very good quality of dairy. So
Yeah.
the quality
Is-
of the food is really
Yeah.
fresh.
Is the majority, the restaurant here also is excellent. My wife was just commenting that this might be the best food in Chile.
Okay, that's.
I mean, we've eaten at some fancy restaurants in Santiago, and this is hands down probably the best food we've had in Chile. And is most of it grown locally?
Most of it.
Most of it.
And seafood is fresh.
Yeah.
Fish is fresh.
Yeah, it's from right there.
So you can't
Yeah.
you can't compete with freshness.
No, you can't.
If you took a lettuce in the morning and in the afternoon it's in your plate, you will taste it. You will recognize
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's not something that.
I mean, even the salad today, we were like, wow,
Exactly.
this just tastes like this was all. And one thing to mention, you guys do have your own garden right out front.
Yes.
Was that what and do
Yes.
you use those?
All of them.
Okay, great,
Every
yeah.
flower, every leaf, we use them.
Yeah.
We grow potatoes. We grow garlic. We grow
Yeah.
lettuce. Different type of
Yeah.
of salads.
And
So-
Chiloé actually is garlic is one of its top agricultural products. I understand. Giant garlic, elephant garlic,
elephant garlic and
Yeah.
potatoes also.
and
native
potatoes. Yeah, and apples.
Apples.
Yeah, we saw you were pressing apples to
Yes.
make cider out here yesterday.
Yes. Using the apples from the property actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else? So just a few more things that are special about this particular
And then
property.
the activities. This is not a resort. You came here to
Yeah.
know and to explore the island.
Yeah.
So you have the chance to do really nice trekking on the Pacific coast,
Yeah.
which is very different from the ocean you have
Yeah.
here.
Very cool. So it's not. He's saying, and I can attest to this. This is not a place where you come and drink drinks and lay around. This is not that type of place. Although it is very relaxing. There is a spa.
You can do that, but
You can do it. There is an open bar here. Don't get me wrong. However, the main draw is what you can do around near and around the property. And so there's some really cool excursions. Can you tell us about a few excursions?
we have these hikes into this park. They are private properties, and you can have the chance to see some wildlife like the pudu, which is the second smallest deer in the world.
We tried. We didn't see one.
But if you're lucky, you can do it.
Yeah.
Or also we have this wiña, which is like a wild cat, small cat,
Oh yeah.
which is
Yep.
endemic also.
Is this the cod?
Yes,
Cod.
like the
Okay.
cod. This is the
It's a
same
small
family.
cat. Yeah.
Also we have kayaking in the bay, so
Mm-hmm.
you can go into our pier, and if you have the lucky, you can see dolphins passing by right away.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, there is many activities. We have electric bikes to go around.
Yeah.
So
I saw you have stables. Is there horses too?
We have horses also.
Is it possible here to be riding a horse and see a dolphin?
Well, if you're lucky enough to have the low tide, because sometimes they use the low tide to go with the horses.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But just seems crazy to me, but this is a place on the planet where you could possibly be on the back of a horse looking at, I guess you could do that on the beach in Mexico probably, but it is a very unique environment. And Eddie, thank you so much for your hospitality and for talking with me. And you want to share anything else?
Yes, I would like to add, because we're changing ownership.
Yes.
I don't know if you hear it.
Refugia. It's going back to Refugia.
Refugia Tierra Chiloe will be Refugia Chiloe.
So okay, let's go back to the beginning. So when this was first founded and built, it was Refugia Chiloe.
Exactly.
And then the Tierra brand bought it.
Yes.
And then it became Tierra Chiloe.
Yes. So by 2000, after pandemic, the owners of the three Tierra they sold the company to an investors in US, the KSL investors.
Okay.
They ran it by 2 years and then decided to sell Tierra Chiloe. So the owner, the original owners, Miguel Purcell and his family, took it back. So right now this season is transition, but right now we are working on the management of the Purcell family.
Well, I mean, that's great. I mean, I would love to buy this place if I had that kind of money. Maybe one day.
And it's great to be in a family business.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's an exceptional. It's in a beautiful location. It's an exceptional property. I mean, the hospitality really is top notch. I mean, this is a 5-star hotel. The attention to detail is really amazing, and so we thank you for everything, and we've had a really great time. Thank you, Eddie, for talking with me.
Great.
And
nice
definitely, if you're watching, visit this place. It's going to, by the time this is up, be called Refugia Chiloe. Great place. So you could say bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay. So one really cool thing about this hotel is that, well, it's really based around exploring, and we do these excursions, and they have this dried fruit and nuts station, which is really cool. So before we head out here, I'm gonna go ahead and, wow, looks like everybody else made a dent in the dried pineapple, but I'm gonna go ahead and get some dried fruit for the day. So I'm gonna go for some dried pineapple, making a little bit of a mess here, but nothing too bad. But so this is not the cheapest place in the world to stay. However, all of your meals are included, and then little touches like this are just really great. So basically, you got a dried fruit and nut buffet here to keep you fueled up on your hikes and your expeditions.
Okay, good morning. This is gonna be our excursion to Tricolors. So I'm gonna show you in the map what we're gonna do today. We're here at the Tierra Chiloe, and we're gonna drive all the way through the city of Castro to the Huillinco Lake, where we're gonna do a quick stop. Afterwards, we're gonna be driving 1 more hour all the way to the Cucao sector, and we're gonna start our hike around this area. We have everything that you need. We have all the rain cloths, we have your lunch boxes. We're gonna be driving around 1 hour and 15 minutes. 50. So around that, or 2 hours, we're gonna do this quick stop in Huillinco to stretch our legs. And right now would be a good time to use the bathroom in case that you need some. And if you're ready, we're good to go. Great.
Okay, so we are in Chiloé, and we were traveling on the Pan American Highway, which is a highway that actually goes all the way up to Alaska. So it is the same road, and it's called different things in different countries. And in California, it is Interstate 5, but this is the same road that goes all the way to the very south of South America and all the way north to Alaska, from what I understand. So pretty cool. We did experience some traffic on that road, which I was told is pretty typical here because it is the main highway through the towns, through the area. But anyways, we're enjoying our trip here. is a guide for Tierra Chiloé, which is going to become Refugia Chiloé, correct?
Perfect.
And tell us a little bit about where we are. So what is this little town here?
Well, this is Huillinco, and right now we're at Huillinco Lake, which is one of our greatest stops along the way to the tricolor hike that we're gonna do later. And in here we get to spot right beneath us, when it's not raining, the Cordillera de la Costa, which is one of the oldest cordilleras that we have here in Chile, actually older than the Cordillera de los Andes that you might have heard about.
What is the meaning of Cordillera?
Cordillera would be a mountain range which is quite old, and it's also quite tall, but this one is a little smaller than the Cordillera de los Andes.
Very cool. So earlier on the car ride here, you were telling us that there are 3 agricultural things that are well known in this area. Could you tell us a little bit about those?
Of course, we are big producers of potatoes. We have over 200 types of native potatoes, so if you come to Chiloé, please try the native potatoes.
We did. I will actually say at the hotel they have an appetizer of native potatoes, and they're all very good and they're very different. They're surprisingly different.
Yes, so the people in here have become quite clever in order to use the potatoes, and we actually have some earrings that are made of potato dough. As you can imagine, people in here, yes, all earrings. Right. You know, you can find everything made of potato in here. Yes. The second thing is the chilote garlic, which is a big head of garlic, and one tooth can be like this size for you to have an idea.
Garlic,
elephant garlic or chilote garlic, as you may call it.
All right.
It's kind of sweeter than the regular garlic, but still really good. And the third thing, it would be apple. We have a lot of apples, and we have over 40 varieties of apple trees. Right now they're starting to get loose, some of the species that are quite rare, but we still have the sweet apple and the acid apple, and we mix them all together and we make an apple cider that is called chicha.
Very cool. All right, well, we have a lot more to explore, so let's get going. Do this. All right, so we're having lunch in the forest and Tierra Chiloé, soon to be Refugia Chiloé has provided a bag lunch so that we don't get hungry on our trek, aka a hike. If you're in the United States, I know you're thinking, what's a trek? It's a hike, but better because we're in Chiloé. So what's great about this hotel is that all meals are included, and the hours for mealtime are pretty long. So you could eat here 5 or 6 times a day if you wanted. So the food is also very, very good. So we've been extremely satisfied with what we've had thus far. I mean, we're talking, this is like eating at a very, very good restaurant as many times as you want every day that you stay here. So very good. All right, so we're having dinner at the hotel, and again, all meals are included, and they give you a bag lunch if you're doing an excursion, and they have the dried fruit nut buffet. So really, you're really well fed here, and it's all included in the price you pay. And they've got some bread, and we've got pebre, which is common all throughout Chile. This is a Chilean staple. It's a lot like Mexican pico de gallo. I think the difference is they don't use cilantro, and it seems to be a little more lemon heavy rather than lime, but it's very good. I always, when I lived here, enjoyed putting this on just about everything, and it's not spicy at all. Chileans are not into spicy food. Okay, so all the meals here are multiple courses. I think the magic number is 3. You get a salad, something healthy, salad or soup, but generally it's on the healthy side. You get an entree. We're doing vegetarian. Actually, I'm trying to do vegan temporarily. So I'm eating mostly vegan food, sometimes a little bit of cheese. And then also the third course is dessert. So all of that being vegetarian, but they are conscientious about dietary restrictions, whether that be that you're vegan or vegetarian, or that you have some kind of allergies, or you don't like seafood. They're very, very accommodating here at Tierra Chiloe, which is becoming soon Refugia Chiloe. Okay, so for dinner I ordered a mushroom gratin, which is comes in a rather small bowl. Oh wow, that's hot. It's hot. It must have been in the oven. Wow, ouch. It's a variety of mushrooms. Looks like probably locally grown, chopped up with a lot of cheese on it. And tried it already, and it is absolutely delicious. A little messy, a little cheesy, a lot of cheesy. So we're now leaving Tierra Chiloe. It's been a nice 2-day stay there, lovely property, and now we are on our way to Ocio Hotel and a few excursions today. We are on the hunt for an animal called a pudu, which is like a tiny deer, the second smallest species of deer in the world. So we're gonna try to find one today. So we're in Castro and we're at a local market called Mercado Yumbel, which is where a lot of the locals will buy their vegetables and seafood, meats, and things like that. So there's a lot of different options here. Flower stores, there's souvenir stores. You can buy just about anything here at this market. So let's take a look around. All right, I wanted to show you something here that this region is well known for. This is elephant garlic. So these are garlics. That's a clove of garlic. So these things are gigantic compared to what we have in the United States. So I just wanted to show you that. This here is called luche, and this is basically a kind of a bundle, a compressed square of seaweed that's grown and harvested locally. I've never seen it before coming here to Chiloé at this market, and I was curious, and so that's what it is. So if you want seaweed, I guess, for I don't know what people eat seaweed here, but obviously we use it in the States for sushi and stuff like that. But so it's similar to nori, and it goes a lot of times in soup. So stews and soups primarily, but this is a big cube of seaweed. So we're at this market and we had to pick up some of this stuff here. This is called merken. This is a very, very famous condiment in Chile and actually throughout the whole world. This is what was created originally, I believe, by the indigenous people in Chile called the Mapuche. And this is a smoky and spicy condiment. It's kind of a smokier version of like a Montreal steak seasoning. I mean, for lack of a better description, but it's really, really good stuff here. You'll find it at just about any market in Chile. Okay, so we're in Castro, which is the central, it's the main city in the Chiloé region, if I hadn't mentioned that before. But we're at another market here known for its crafts and especially its things made out of wool. And so I'm here actually looking for wool hat, which is a popular thing here in Chiloé. Wool sweaters and wool beanies, what we know as beanies or toques in Canada. So we're doing a bit of shopping here at the artisan market in Castro. Okay, so it was a success at this market. I did get a authentic wool beanie from Chiloé. Very cool, very unique. Here, I'll even try it on for you while my wife holds the camera. So I can wear it really high like this if I want, or I can fold it up a couple times. Look at that. It's very warm. It's 100% wool. And don't I look like a real traveler wearing it? Okay, so today we're looking for pudus, and here's a sign, a literal sign. So we're in the right area. Let's hope we get to see a pudu today. No pudus here, no pudus here, no pudus here. Okay, I don't know if you can see them right down there, but we did successfully find 2 pudu down there. behind us is the Tepueco Lodge, is another hotel. We're not staying here tonight, so I'm not going to give you a full hotel tour today, but I did want to point out that this has kind of a similar style to the last hotel we were at, Tierra Chiloe. And the design concept in most of these hotels here that are considered eco hotels is that they don't distract from the natural environment, meaning they're intended to blend in, and this does just that. If you were far away from here, you wouldn't really be able to see this hotel until you were fairly close, and that's a concept utilized in the designs of most hotels that we're going to stay at, unlike many of the bigger hotels that we know of, like I don't want to say them specifically by name, but I think you know what I'm talking about. It's a cool looking place. We're just having lunch here, so just for a quick stop, and then we're going to take a walk to nearby lake. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out is these shingles. So these are very, very common building material throughout all of Chiloé. You see them in residential homes, you see them on structures like this, and this is a hotel, and they are a very light wood. They're easy to work with, they're easy to cut, which probably explains why they're so widely used here. But what I wanted to point out is you see this color here, which is kind of orange, is the original color of the wood, and this color here, you see over time they've been beaten down by wind and by rain, and so they change color over time, and these are very, very durable. I was told they last in excess of 100 years, so they are a very good material. These shingles were introduced in Puerto Varas by German settlers, and the people of Chiloé have kind of made them their own. I understand that the Germans had like 2 different shingle patterns, and when you're in a city like Castro down here in Chiloé, you see a wide variety of shingle patterns used in the construction of a lot of the homes. But I just wanted to point that out because I think it's pretty cool. All right, so first, this is our guide and wildlife expert here in Chiloé, our second full day here in Chiloé. Can you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Felipe. I work for Birds Chile. It's a company based in Puerto Varas, but also operates in the whole country, from Atacama Desert till the very south of the country, Magallanes region. So from desert to ice. And I've been working for the company as a wildlife guide for about 8 years.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the wildlife in Chiloé. Are there some animals and birds that you can't find really anywhere else?
Well, there are a few mammals that you cannot find in other places in Chile, like Darwin's fox. Mm-hmm. It's an endemic fox from the island. It's also called Darwin's fox, but because when Darwin was here in Chiloé between 1834 and 35, mm-hmm. he described that fox. It's also somewhere else in the coastal range of Chile, but mainly in this island. That's one of those. And this tiny deer, the pudu.
We saw one of those today. We were lucky and we got to see a pudu today.
It's in other areas in Chile, in the rainforest, but it's mainly the best spot to spot them. It's here in the island. Mm-hmm. It's more common to see them here because there are no pumas in the island, like in the rest of the continent, so they don't have that predator here. Right. Unfortunately, stray dogs are being now the predator for the puma.
Interesting.
In the island.
I was going to ask, and you said, well, the stray dog is not the third mammal. There's one
more. No. There are a few other mammals. We have a wild cat called the cot, huiña in Spanish, and that it's like the size of a domestic cat with shorter legs and shorter tail, mm-hmm. And can be like brown stripe, or the melanistic version, black, like the leopard. That can
like
be
a panther, maybe.
Like a panther. That panther is the melanistic version of a leopard, or a jaguar. Uh-huh. That's a panther, and same in this case, you can have a melanistic huiña or cot.
What does that mean, melanistic? I've never heard that word.
It's because of the pigment of the mm-hmm. skin. Sometimes they do not have this color like leopards, and they get only like a black pigment on the skin.
Okay.
And you can still see on a leopard or jaguar the marks, but if you see very careful, if you see from a far distance, you will see something just black, mm-hmm. and that will be a panther But if you see closer, you will see that the same dots that leopards and jaguars have. So that would be the melanistic would be just black pigment, and this little native wildcat also has that version, a
Cool.
melanistic version.
And so the little pudus that we saw today, they have no real natural predators here in Chiloé?
Just the fox.
Just
the
The fox will eat the...
yeah.
Oh.
Fox could eat.
Wow.
The
It seems
poodle.
like the fox and the deer are the same size in this case.
Yeah, but still could eat, especially
Okay.
the small one, because
Yeah.
the baby poodle are like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so now that I've been exploring Chiloé for a couple days here, I noticed there's kind of a few different ecosystems.
Yes.
Right? Can you tell us a little? You had mentioned rainforest, and we're in front of a lake. So can you tell us a little bit about the differing ecosystems that we have in Chiloé here?
Yeah, most of the whole island is on the Lake District, and that it's all covered by native rainforest. Okay, of course it's been open for agriculture, but the natural ecosystem will be all rainforest. Okay, all over from the Andes to the Pacific coast. That is the main ecosystem, but also there are a lot of wetlands, especially here in Chiloe Island. There are many wetlands, many areas that sunk because of the earthquake of 1960, and
Wow.
then the level became lower and became wetlands. That huge earthquake, 9.5, the biggest so far in the history.
History of the world, actually.
Yes. And also, well, we have the coast and fields of agriculture fields where you find some species of birds, and the rainforest you find some others, and in the coast you have different coastal birds, but also many pelagic birds and migratory birds that comes every year, especially to the northern coast of Chiloe Island. Well, to not to breed, most of them breed in the northern hemisphere, but they come in the northern winter. They come to spend our summer, okay, for feeding mainly. Different species of plovers and godwits, okay, and yeah, those are the main ecosystems,
Right.
like wetlands,
Cool.
coast, rainforest, and fields.
And can you tell us that you're a bird expert, as your vest says here, covered by the strap? But anyways, I knew it was there. So what kind of birds can you view here?
Well, in the rainforest, I'm thinking this charismatic birds. Probably the woodpeckers would be maybe the most interesting to see. Magellanic woodpecker is a big woodpecker similar to the North American pileated woodpecker, like similar size and also red head. And
Like Woody Woodpecker, the cartoon.
yeah, similar. Yeah. And there's other two species, the Chilean flicker and the striped woodpecker. And maybe like in an ecosystem like this or by the river, our kingfisher is a beautiful bird, the ringed kingfisher.
Yeah, we got to
size.
see one of those yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
He said he was a little overweight because he has a lot of fish to eat.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. They do well here, kingfishers. It's a good spot for kingfisher, Chiloe Island. Well, we have a family of birds called the tapaculos. That is a South American family of birds, and there are 4 species in this forest. They're very loud birds, but they live only in the understory, and they shelter in the bamboos or the ferns, so they are hard to spot. We hear them all the time because they are loud, but you have to wait and sit and wait to see one of those. But they are very interesting birds.
They're better. They're easier to hear than to see, right?
I'm sorry.
It's easier to hear them than to see them.
It's much easier to see them.
That's how our parents wanted us to behave back in the 80s.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
The opposite. Yeah. Anyways, just a little joke there. Anyway, so what is your favorite bird? Your personal favorite bird?
Well, I think probably the woodpecker, the Magellanic woodpecker.
Okay.
It's all what involves around the atmosphere. Find it in the forest,
Great.
hear it first, then look something pecking on a tree, and with the red head in the middle of the forest, would be my favorite. Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna get to see one today?
We can try.
We're gonna try. All right, well, let's go try. Let's keep exploring. All right, as we were on a little hike here by the lake, we came across some wild blackberries, and I love blackberries, so I want to give these a try. They're good. They're a little more tart than blackberries you get in the store in a little clamshell, but they're good. This church that you see behind me here was built in about 1879, and it's one of 16 UNESCO heritage sites that are all churches on the Chiloé Island, and what that means means is that UNESCO has given this designation to this church and 16 others here, meaning that it has important cultural and historical significance for the whole world. And what's interesting about this is obviously you can see it's a very beautiful architectural structure, and really these churches are truly one of a kind. So let's go take a look inside. So one thing I want to point out about this church is that you see that this bright blue kind of turquoise color. Obviously this is pretty interesting because a lot of churches, as you might know, are often not so colorful. They're often black or brown, kind of darker colors usually. This church here is white with these turquoise accents, so different. Inside the church, and we're kind of in this area that is not too decorative, just so you can actually see the structure of the church. And what I wanted to point out here is that you see that there are no nails here, so they would just make these cuts here and wedge this wood and it feels extremely solid. And again, I don't know how well you can see this, but over here you see that when they did some restoration, they restored it and they used nails. So on one side you have nails, and on this other side here you just see they've wedged this piece of wood into the other. So one thing about these churches is that they're made entirely of wood. And so if you look behind me here, it has this pillar, and if you look around the church, you see these pillars, and they're made to resemble marble. So if you take a closer look here, you can see the planks of wood, and you can see that they're actually just painted to look like marble. So really, really interesting historical stuff here in Chiloé. All right, and take a look here, get down low here. If you look under here, there's no cement foundation, it's actually just rocks. And they're, throughout the bottom of this structure here, but it's just these kind of mid-size rocks that are holding this whole thing up. All right, so we've arrived at our second hotel in Chiloé, and this hotel is called Hotel Ocio. It's a very, very cool spot. It only has 13 rooms. It's got an excellent location overlooking the lake here. Let me show you around. Okay, so we're at our second hotel here in Chiloé. This hotel is called Hotel Ocio, and it's a little bit different because all of the rooms are casitas, more or less, kind of like little houses. Well, I mean, we do have, they're in one structure, but this is only 5 rooms here. And then as I pan the camera here behind me is the main building. So we're gonna go take a look at our room. Good old room number 7. Come on inside. Let's take a look. All right, so amazing thing about this room is here, this big window, and you've got this amazing view. They always give us little snacks here. So we've got some potato chips, some kind of nuts, candy, and a pastry of some kind. But they're very generous here with the gift. Last hotel we got water bottles and wool booty things. They're just always giving us gifts here. I don't know if it's because of my wife's work or if they just give everybody gifts. I don't know. Really great feature that I love about the hotel is all these little casitas have their private outdoor space, a little balcony. Let's step outside and take a look. We are en route from Chiloé to Puerto Varas, and we stopped at this beautiful viewpoint to take a look at Pacific Ocean. However, very far south. This is the bosom of the Pacific Ocean, sweet prince. A lot of D, a lot of do. Yeah, I'm just talking right now for funsies. It's like this kind of a bay. You know, it's weird because you never know how the coast is really strange down here because there's a lot of the landmass breaks up into little archipelagos. So it's interesting, not your typical beach, but very beautiful. So just over my shoulder here, you'll see a couple of islands, and we're taking a small boat out to those islands today in hopes to see some penguin. Now it is at the end of the penguin season down here. They'll be migrating back to wherever it is they came from. I'm not totally sure, but we will probably find out on our boat ride over there. But let's cross our fingers in hopes to see some cute little penguins. Okay, so I wanted to show you something that I think is a little bit funny. So over my shoulder here is the boat, and it's a little bit in the water. And so people are gonna board that boat to go to the islands there to see some penguins. And they would otherwise have to walk in the water with their shoes, but instead, if you see behind me now, over this shoulder is a little cart that all the people go on, and 3 guys pull them over to the boat right there so they don't have to get their feet wet. When we were in the Galapagos Islands, we would just bring like water shoes, but water here is pretty cold, so I don't think that would be very comfortable. But I guess it's a good way to get people out there, keep them dry. So we're out on a boat, and we're here with Felipe, trying to get us both in frame here. Okay, there we are. All right, and Felipe, we're here to see 2 different types of penguins, correct?
Yes.
And what type of penguins are those?
It's one of the Magellanic penguin, and the other is a Humboldt penguin.
Okay.
Both are similar in size and shape. They have a few differences.
Yeah. And why do they choose to come here? What time of year?
They come here during the spring and summer in the southern hemisphere, so that's from September till March. They pick this island because they are protected from winds and predators.
Okay.
So both species share the same habitat in this island for 6 months.
Cool. And we're at the end of the season here, so how likely is it, do you think, we're going to see any penguins today?
We'll see. They haven't seen many lately. They are leaving already. They start on, as I said, on September, and just they leave now by the end of March, or during March they start leaving. Humboldt heads north, and Magellanic goes south. So I think I've heard there's still have seen some lately, but they can be in the water right now fishing. So we haven't seen at the shore, but you never know.
All right. Well, let's hope to see some penguins today. So we're just wrapping up boat tour to see some penguins here, and we were able to see 1 Magellanic penguin because it is the end of the season, but there's plenty of bird life. There's cormorants, pelicans, flightless steamer ducks. So in the event you don't see penguins here towards the end of the season, lots of bird life here in Chiloé. So I'm currently on a ferry. We drove our van onto the ferry, and the ferry is crossing what's known as a Changout Channel. I believe I'm saying that right, hopefully. But the shortest point across is 1 mile, and apparently there's a project to build a bridge, which has been 4 years in negotiation, and will take another 3 to actually build. So we've got about a half an hour ride over to Puerto Varas. So we have boarded a ferry to get across this lake here. I'm not actually sure if it's a lake or if it's inlet or the ocean, but anyways, we're taking a big ferry across to get to Puerto Varas. that's gonna wrap up our trip to the lakes region in Chile, and I'm so glad you came along. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed being here. We've talked to some great people. We've seen some interesting things, volcanoes, lakes. We visited Puerto Varas, we visited Chiloé, and this is a wonderful and unique place to visit. So if you have liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, and I would love it if you subscribe to my channel, and be sure to hit that notification bell so that you're alerted every time I come out with new content. And if you have any feedback or any comments, please drop a comment below. I do reply to every comment on this channel, and I'd love to hear your ideas. If you are interested in getting in touch with me for travel or for real estate or for international real estate, I'd love to chat. My information is in the description as well as at the end of this video. I'm Daryl Vaughn, your quality of life realtor, and I'll see you in the next video.